Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about subtractions with integers. So from last video, you know the integers are a collection of all whole numbers, including positive whole numbers, negative whole numbers, and zero. So all of the whole numbers together collectively are called integers. Now, in this video, we have three objectives. First, we want to learn how to write subtraction as a addition. And the second one, we want to solve an equation that has an unknown addend in it. In solving this equation, we are going to perform integer subtractions. Number three, we are going to solve some application problems involving subtraction of integers. So let's do it one by one. And this first one, we are going to rewrite a subtraction problem as a equivalent addition problem. So we already learned how to add integers. So by rewriting a subtraction problem as equivalent addition problem, we can do it as addition problem and to get the same answer. By the way, we can always convert between addition and subtraction, also between multiplication and division, because these operations are opposite operations, and you can always write one operation in terms of the other one. Later on in the future video, we're going to look at how to rewrite a multiplication as division, rewrite a division as multiplication. Okay, our first example. Suppose we have $30 in the checking account and we write a check for $42. What is the balance? So $30 is your current balance in the checking account. That's your credit, that's your money. It's going to be a positive number. It's different than a balance on your credit card statement. That would be a debt, that would be a negative number. Okay, we have positive 30 numbers currently in the checking account. Now we want to write a check with the amount of $42. When you write a check, that money will be deducted, will be taken away from your checking account. So naturally, that is a subtraction. That is a subtraction problem. And we know that you cannot take more than what you have and to remain a positive balance in your account, right? Apparently 42 is more than 30. As a result, we expect to get a negative balance. But before we get our answer, we want to rewrite this one as a addition problem. We already know this one 30 and 42 difference $12. That means after you write the check, after this $42 is taken away from your checking account, your checking account will have a $12 deficit. That means negative $12 balance. But let's do it by changing subtraction to addition. So how do we do that? Whenever you change the operation, you change the operation to the opposite operation. In this case, we change minus to plus. You also change the second number to the opposite. So you can change the operation to the opposite operation. You also change your second number to the opposite number. We subtract 42. 42 is our second number, which is positive. This is a subtraction. And we change that positive number to negative number. So this is dollar sign. We don't have to carry the dollar sign all the time. Now, from what we learned in the last video, adding integers, we know these two numbers have the different signs. And when they have different signs, the smaller amount is going to be canceled. And you're going to have some leftover from the one with bigger magnitude, and negative 42 have, this one has higher, size, have bigger size, bigger magnitude. This one will have the leftover. Leftover is 12, so we get negative $12. This is by doing addition, we get original answer. You know this answer is correct. So we can always change minus to plus and change second number to the opposite. It doesn't matter second number is a positive number or negative. It always works. Okay. Now let's look at another example. Suppose we have a balance of negative $12 and write a check for $15. What is the new balance? So our current balance is negative $12. It's already below zero. Then if you write another check for $15, so this $15 will be taken away, will further reduce your balance in your checking account. That means you get deeper into debt. So we expect this number getting even more negative, right? From common sense. So we minus $15. Now we are going to change minus to plus. By the way, the goal of this kind of examples is that after enough exercise problems, after enough example problems, and people can do this subtraction directly without changing it to addition problem first. That's the goal. So first, we copy the first number. We change the operation to the opposite. Now this is our second number, okay? This is the minus. We change minus to plus. We change the second number, which is positive 15, to the opposite. Now we learn from addition of integers. When two addends, when the two numbers have the same sign, it doesn't matter they're positive or they're negative. As long as they have same sign, they are in the same direction, it will be added up. The total value will add up in that same direction. So we get even more bigger negative number, which is 27. So after writing another check for $15, the balance will become $27 in deficit, negative $27. Now, actually, there's another way to look at this. Say, instead of looking at this minus as an operation, you can always look at this whole thing as two numbers. Say negative 12, and you have another negative 15. You don't read this as minus, just as negative numbers. Look at them separately. You got negative 12, another negative 15. How much in total now? Accumulation is negative 27. It's just a different way to look at things, and you get same answer. You get same answer. Move on to the next page. This is your first set of exercise questions. The answers to these exercise questions is in the comment area of the video. And if you have questions, also post it in the comment area. Now, move on to the next example. Example 3. Suppose we have a balance of $28 in the checking account, that is positive $28. The bank discovers that we were charged a $5 service fee by mistake. So when you get charged, money taken away, right? And that's going to be negative number. Any charge is negative number, like you charge your credit card. The bank indicates that the fee will be corrected. That means they're going to credit your checking account with $5. In other words, they're going to refund you with $5. What will the balance be after the correction? What is the new balance after they refund you with $5? So since the $5 is given you, is returned to your account, is a positive number, it's not taken away. Okay. So now we start with $28. Now, since this $5 initially was charged as a fee, it's a negative number. Now they want to take it away. When they take away the mistaken amount, which is negative, is equivalent to they refunded you, right? They take the charge away. It's equivalent to they refunded you. It's equivalent they didn't charge you in the first place, so to speak, right? So take this charge away. The charge is negative. That's your own balance. Now, negative equal to positive. You look at that way, or we can do this following the same logic. You can change minus to plus always, and change the second number to the opposite to be consistent with previous examples, right? But our second number is a negative number. The opposite of negative number is positive number. Now everybody take a look and let's make sense out of this, okay? Actually, this does make sense. When you take a charge away, it is equivalent to they refunded you, because it is equivalent to they didn't charge you in the first place after they take this away. So that's what I said. It's equivalent to they refund you with $5. That's why it becomes positive. Take away charge equivalent to refund. Now the total amount is $33. Say this $28 was the amount after you get charged by $5 service fee by mistake. If you were not charged, it would have been, say, $33 in the first place, right? So hopefully this makes sense to you. But to make things easier to do in terms of calculation, whenever you have minus negative, it's just equivalent to plus. Negative equal to positive. You just look at that way in a shortcut sense. So you can do calculation a little bit faster. Now your second set of exercise problems. And example number 4. So we are going to look at how to solve equations. The process of solving all of these equations will involve subtracting integers. That's why they are here. Okay, let's do this one by one. When we solve an equation, any equation, no matter at what level, middle school, high school, college, graduate school, and your goal is to have the unknown, such as x, on one side by itself. The other side will be a number eventually, and we call it answer, like x equals something, right? That's our goal, that's our direction. So for this particular one, we don't want to have 25 to be on the left-hand side with x, right? We want x along by itself. So for that reason, we want to get rid of 25. How to do that? And basically, we just move it to the other side because we only need x on one side by itself. But how do we do it actually? We know we need to move it to the other side, but what do we do to do that? Actually, you do this. Whenever you move a whole term, terms are those that separate by either plus or minus. You move the whole term to the other side, make sure you change the sign in front of the term to the opposite also. Because you move the term to the opposite side of this equation, you need to change this term, this number, to the opposite number too. So this is a positive because we don't have any negative sign in the front. It's a positive. That's a tradition that's convention in mathematics. So now x, which is positive x, after you move 25 to the other side, you got 10 minus 25. So we know 10 minus 25 equals 10 plus negative 25, and which is negative 15. So how do we know our answer is correct or not? We can always plug this number back into the equation to see if it makes the equation equal. So imagine 25 plus negative 15, that is positive 10. So this is the correct answer. Just make sure when you move a term to the other side of the equation, change the sign to the opposite. Now let's look at our second one. So we have exactly the same structure, we just have different numbers. So as in the previous one, we want to move this -15 to the other side so that x is on one side by itself. So move it to the other side, but this time we get a negative number. So after you move it, it becomes a positive number. So x equals -20 plus 14. Now, we know this one going to give us -6, right? 14 get canceled, we get 6 as leftover from here. This is negative, leftover will be -2. So is this correct? Let's double check. So -14 plus -6, both are negative, they add up, you get -20. So that's the correct answer. See, it's not that hard, all right? So just take a little bit of practice to get used to working with negative numbers. It doesn't take very long for you to get used to it. Just like you work with the whole positive numbers, there's not much difference. Okay, the third set of exercise, you have 5 of these equations to solve. And after you solve it, you can pause the video when you watch it and solve these equations, and then compare your answer to the answers I provided in the comment area. Now, the last one we do today, last topic is solve application problems involving subtraction of integers. So let's look at our example 5. The financial report for a business indicates that the total revenue for 2010 was $2,453,530, and the total costs were $2,560,000. What was the net? Did the business experience a profit or loss? First of all, what is called the net? Net is the short of net income. So for business, for accounting, income equals revenue subtract cost. If the revenue is higher than your cost, you're going to make a profit. If the revenue is lower than your cost, you're going to have a loss, deficit, you're going to have a loss. Okay, let's do that. And so our profit or net, either way, they mean the same thing. If net is positive number, you get a profit. If your net is negative number, you'll have a loss. So equals revenue. Let me just write down revenue minus cost. Okay, that's a general way to find the net income. Revenue was $2,453,530. Subtract the cost, $2,560,000. Now, certainly we can change minus to plus, or you can just use your calculator to do subtraction directly. Common sense tells us you're going to have a negative number, right? Because second number is smaller than the first number. Whenever you use a smaller number, subtract bigger number, you're going to get a negative result. So again, if you want to do it manually, or you can, if you want to convert minus to plus, that is totally fine. You're going to have a plus negative of this number, and the result will be the same. So I'm going to do just subtraction directly. 2,453,530 subtract 2,560,000 equals. So we got negative 106,470. Since the net income is negative, it is a loss. It's a loss for this company. Yeah, that's our answer. That's our solution. So you also have an application problem as an exercise, very similar. Now let's look at the final set of example. which is about the difference between two numbers. And first, we know that difference is a result of subtraction. For example, what's the difference between 2 and 5? You know it's 3, right? You know it's 3. How do you get 3? What do you do to get 3? Do you multiply, do you divide, do you add between 2 and 5 to get 3? No, you do subtraction. You will use a bigger number, subtract the smaller number to get the difference. So we're going to see this example 6. So whenever you're looking for the difference between two numbers, you want to do a subtraction. Okay, example 6. On the evening news, a meteorologist says that the current temperature is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. She then says that the evening low could get down to -6 degrees Fahrenheit. How much of a change is this from the current temperature? So change is, the result of change is difference between the two numbers, right? When they ask us to solve change, is equivalent to solve for the difference between those two numbers. So we are going to use, this is a change. We're going to use bigger number, subtract the smaller number. And this one is -6 degrees. This is the first number, the second number. We want to subtract it. Don't forget you subtract the negative number. The sign in front of 6 itself is not subtraction. It just tells you it's below a freezing point. It's not below freezing point back, because in Fahrenheit system, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing point, below 0 degrees. So negative equal to positive is equivalent to 20 plus 6. That is 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the change is 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see if this makes sense. So let's say this is a 0 degree Fahrenheit. Now currently it's 25 degrees. It's supposed to be here, it's 25. Now evening low is -6 degrees Fahrenheit. It's below the 0 for sure because it's negative. Suppose it's here, -6 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is the change? What's the distance? Here is 25 degrees, another 6 degrees. That's totally 31 degrees change. And that makes sense. So our answer must be a correct answer. But we don't need to draw this chart to confirm its change. To confirm it is correct, as long as we know the change equals to subtraction result between the two numbers. And you have the last set of exercise, and the two of those, A and B. So this is A, very similar temperature, but this time is in Celsius degree. Let's continue on the second page. So it dropped from 120 degrees Celsius to -190 degrees Celsius, and they ask you the change. And this is very similar. It's instead of temperature, this is about depth of submarine. Okay, that's the end of this video. See you in the next one.